What's up, everyone? This is BigPowner. It's been a while since I've made a video. Sorry if you guys have left comments and I haven't responded. I do always respond in the Discord, but when I am done with the season, I don't really check my YouTube comments that much. So if you guys left comments and I didn't respond to them after that in the last couple weeks, that's the reason why. I get burnt out on leagues and I take a break. Anyways, today we're gonna discuss basically how to pick your starter, and how to make a plan for that. The thing is I'm not going to tell you what I'm starting in this video because we haven't gotten all the releases. This last league, they winded up kind of changing how they always had done it before. They always had done it before like at least a week out. That was the closest they had done. They would release all of the changes and you would know what's up and you could have a week to kind of prepare yourself. They're not doing that now. I think last league they released it like 2 or 3 days were the last time they did a release. So we're a little bit under 3 days out from the release of Heist right now. So hopefully today we'll get the rest of the changes that are coming in Heist. But the thing is my pick for a starter, I'm either going to go with something safe, which that's one thing I'm going to cover. Going with something safe is something that hasn't been changed. Something that you know that you can make good currency for the start of your league. That for me would be like my ice shot. I've played it now for 7 or 8 leagues in a row. It's probably not going to get changed. The only changes that we've seen in those 8 leagues are actually buffs to the build. It's never gotten popular enough where they've actually had to nerf it down. So that's kind of like my safe pick. If I decide to start this league safe, outside of them completely killing the skill, which I don't see happening, that would be a safe build for me to start. I know that I can play all the content that's already in the game and I can make really good currency. So that would be a safe pick for me. So you can go with a safe pick start. This is kind of like the strategy of I have a way that I know that I can make currency. I want to make that currency early when it's easiest to make currency and then be able to play all the new stuff however I want. That's one very viable strategy. Another strategy, or another version of that, because that would be like a mapper, or like, well, like that's what ice shot's good for, is like mapping. I mean, there are really good builds for delving, but if you guys watch my channel, I'm not a delver. Or you could go for early boss rushing. If you are not good at doing boss rushing, this is not a viable choice for you. The people that do boss rushing, that's they're probably not looking at a video like this for starter advice. In general, though, this is the advice everyone really needs to hear. In general, you do not want to pick a starter that falls into certain categories. The first category is you don't want to pick something popular. If you know that a build is going to be popular, you don't want to start it. Why is it that you don't want to do that? A build being popular is not a good thing. A build being popular is a bad thing. The reason why is because if you pick a popular build where the mass majority of the community is picking that build, especially for a starter, you are going to have a really bad time. And why is that? Because everyone's going to want the gear for that character. All of the gear is going to be overpriced. Plain and simple, everything's just going to be more expensive unless you just happen to be really, really lucky, which the mass majority of the community will not be in this category. It is an RNG-based game. You could be that person that gets the mirror drop, but you don't want to bank on that or you're going to have a bad league. So starting with a build that is popular or that you know is going to be popular is a really, really bad idea. If you want to play a popular build, like a build that's popular early in the game, you should probably plan that to be like your second or third build. The reason why is because a build that's popular has tons of people that start the build and then they fall into this crappy category where they're not the most lucky players on the server, so they can't afford to make the build, so they wind up quitting it and going to something else. And then there's also those people that, get all the good gear and then they get tired of the build and they sell all their gear. So what happens is a lot of gear gets created for the build and then a lot of people stop playing the build and then that gear becomes very cheap to get. So it's a good idea, if there's a really popular build you want to play, plan to play it a little bit later in the league, and you'll have a really easy time gearing that up later on in the league when stuff's more abundant and people have focused on crafting a bunch of stuff for it and so on and so forth. The other biggest no-no for a starter is don't start a starter that requires specific things or it doesn't work. Um, the reason why you don't want to do this is because unless it's just something that's really easy to get where you can guaranteed get it, I'm mainly talking about uniques. Because like if you have a way to craft the item, then that's a guaranteed like avenue for you to get to something. That's normally the types of builds you want to start off with is like, I know I can craft this, I know, I can use this other gear. This doesn't mean that like, there aren't uniques that are good for the build. This means like the build doesn't work without specific uniques. Never start a build like this. This is really, really dumb. Because if you do this and you have to have a bunch of these specific uniques and other people are looking for these specific uniques at the beginning of the league, it's going to once again put you into that category where unless you're one of the luckiest players in the beginning of the league where you can get these items um, really early, you're just going to be stuck until you can get those items. So this is another thing that I try to avoid. Are there uniques in builds that I will use? Yes, but I'm not going to start a build that's like, this build is going to suck until I get these 3 uniques, and then I start to be able to play the build. So you really need to look at like, will the build actually work without the uniques that are being recommended in it? And a lot of recommendations are normally like, get this unique and this unique and this unique, and they don't really tell you, oh, well, you don't really need it. Well, yes, you actually do. And a lot of builds that are out there are not good starters because they do require a lot of uniques, which, later on in the league isn't a big deal. Those uniques are going to be super, super cheap to get. But at the beginning of the league, when no one has anything, those uniques are going to be super expensive to get if other people want them. So this is actually going to be amplified even more this league because there's probably going to be a lot of people that are like, get this specific specialty gem, get this specific specialty unique. That's how we want to make this build. We don't yet know how common or uncommon the uniques are going to be, but obviously the special heist version of the uniques, the special heist version of the gems are going to be much harder to get than the regular ones because you have to be inside of the league mechanic to get them to drop. So the mass majority of the uniques coming into the league are going to be the non-heist versions, just plain and simple because you spend more time doing other stuff than you do doing the league mechanic. So don't start a build that is going to require a heist unique. If someone is, I mean, I'm honestly just coming back to this game. I've just watched the releases from 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 GGG, so I don't, and I never really look into what people are suggesting and stuff like that. I don't spend my time watching YouTube. I don't really have a use for it. I put my time into creating stuff. Um, so if there are people that are recommending already, um, to go for uniques as your starter, that's really stupid. We don't know how hard they're going to be able to be. If you're basing your build, especially if it's going to be a popular build, if someone's like, we're going to go for these heist uniques and we're going to go for these heist jewels, and that's what the build's going to be. You don't know how hard they're going to be to get. And if a bunch of people are going for those things right out the get-go, that means those things are going to be super uber expensive. And we don't even know how good it's going to be in a build. This is going to put you into a place where you're possibly, unless you're in one of these top player percentages where you play a ton, you're going to get ahead of most people, and in some time you're going to be able to get this stuff. Unless you're in that category, you're going to wind up jumping into a build that is 100% not going to work for you, or you're going to wind up struggling until it gets so late in the league that the mass majority of people have had access to get those things and the prices start coming down. So you just really don't want to be putting yourself into this type of a situation. Now, I will say my personal take on this. I'm kind of torn between doing a safe start personally, and then also there's like a lot of new skills. I mean, honestly, like it's kind of a it's kind of more a visual thing. I like the way some of the new skills look, and I like the ideas behind some of the new skills. So it's possible that I might like pick a build that I can go into one of the new skills, like the what is it the I don't even remember the name of the new skill gem. The like the lightning lance thing looked pretty cool. And Firestorm, them redoing Firestorm. I have interest in playing Firestorm. Those are two skills that I was definitely like. I think I might want to play this league. I was kind of thinking about possibly doing a discharge build for a starter because it seems like they just buffed discharge, and discharge has some really strong builds. Um, so if they've made discharge actually more accessible, obviously we're gonna have to look at the full patch notes. Um, if that's the case, it's a possibility that I might do something different than usual. Instead of going with a safe start, I don't necessarily recommend that. The smartest thing to do always is to go with something you know is going to work. Um, it's kind of one of those like I'm gonna tell you what the smartest thing to do is, but you know, I kind of I kind of might divert from that. I kind of did that this last league, and kind of regretted not just playing Ice Shot, because every league that I just start Ice Shot, I do really, really well. Um, so I don't know if the feeling of that regret last league is far enough away for me to start something other than Ice Shot this league. So if I don't make a decision, I'll just start Ice Shot. If patch notes look really good for something else, I might start another build, but then that's going to require me to do research to see if it's popular, and give myself like a realistic guess of whether doing something doing something utilized around one of the new skills is going to actually be a smart choice. Like I said, Firestorm looks really cool. I really like the way it looks. The Ice Crash looks really cool. I really like the visuals of them. So if they're actually going to be viable, also, I will probably be playing at least a couple of those skills. I really like the lightning thing looks really cool for me because like you can run around and it's kind of more spread out for like clearing trash. But then with that increased intensity, getting that like focus beam, that looks really cool to me. The bombardment, I mean honestly, like their new skills look really really cool. I'm actually really excited to play some of the new skills. So I don't know if my want to play the new stuff right away is going to outweigh my that that knowledge that I know that more than likely I'm going to regret it. We'll see. Obviously, we want to play stuff for fun. For me, fun is a combination of playing new stuff and also doing well in the league. So it's not fun for me to start something new and wind up struggling all league. So I'm not going to be playing anything that's popular. 100% I won't be playing anything that's popular. I'll probably just ask around, because I know a lot of people do a lot of research and watch a lot of videos and stuff and can probably give me a better gauge of what's going to be popular this league than I could find out quickly. So that's probably what I'll do, and I will get back to you guys and give you a full breakdown of the patch notes and what I think about it once we actually see all of that. Anyways, thanks for watching. Looking forward to the new season. Hope you guys are too. Hope everyone is doing well out in this crazy world. At least if you're able to view this video, that means you are doing much better than a lot of people out there. So hopefully that will stay that way for all of you. Thanks for watching. Peace.